There was just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of land and waters that this podcast is recorded on.
Hi Outlouders, it's Clare Stephens in your ears, and I know it's weird to hear my voice on a Saturday, but I'm here to tell you about our latest episode of Cancelled. It's all about model and always controversial podcast host Emily Ratajkowski, aka Em Rata, aka friend of the Out Loud podcast. Now, while it isn't technically illegal to be that beautiful, Jessie and I looked into some of her real crimes, like saying hair is feminine, her feud with Celeste Barber, and the fact that she flat out stole the name of someone else's podcast. Which we can't say we've never done, but in our defence, we didn't know the other cancelled existed because we are, as most people know, lazy girls. Anyway, here's the episode, and if you want more, listen to Cancelled wherever you get your podcasts. Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the podcast that looks at silly celebrity crimes and assigns charges and sentences to them so that we can all move on with our lives. I'm Jessie Stephens.
And I'm Clare Stephens.
And Claire, do you have a lazy girl story for us today to start?
I do, because you didn't bring one.
So this is one. I don't know if y'all are still collecting lazy girl stories. Yes, we are. Always. That's an always on thing. But I was doing fake nails, but couldn't be bothered getting up to get the scissors from my desk across the room. So I used my teeth.
Oh, what lazy girl can find scissors?
But I accidentally stuck my tongue to my teeth with nail glue. That's my girl. Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl.
That's really not. I do that with fake eyelashes. You know, if a makeup artist is doing fake eyelashes, they might do it with tweezers. They might do it just really well with their hands.
Yeah.
But me, I go, no.
I'm going to kind of do a smush.
I'm going to do a smush
with my fingertips.
I'm going to get glue. Oh, no, the glue's all over my makeup bag.
Yeah.
That's a problem for later. Now,
oh, no, my lipstick is stuck to my blush.
Yes, I'm going to put it on the little strip.
Yep.
Lovely. I'm going to give it a shake just like the makeup artist does.
Yeah, do a little blow. You don't know why.
I'm going to smush. Oh, no, I've stuck all my eyelashes together. This is in the wrong place.
And now my finger is stuck to my eye hole.
And that is beauty.
Okay. I tried to fix a coffee table the other day with super glue.
Oh, wow.
Hand stuck to coffee table for such a long time. I was like, every time I say, just don't stick your hand to this.
Lazy girls and glue do not mix.
No.
Glue is for patient people.
It is. Today we're doing someone we've wanted to cover for a while.
Someone you've personally wanted to cover for since we started this podcast.
I've suggested her 1 million times.
It's Emily Ratajkowski, aka Em Rata.
A great threat to our nation that no one's talking about is Emily Ratajkowski's giant baby.
Emily O'Hara Ratajkowski was born in 1991, making her younger than both of us, which is crime numero uno.
Okay.
Like us, Ratajkowski was signed with Ford Models at 14 years old. Hard relate. At 14 is meant to be the age where you look in the mirror and sob
and go, that is really bad. And even your parents are like, oh,
I remember mum
things
saying,
will get better.
I remember I wanted to go on that medication for acne.
Yeah,
and
everyone
mum
did.
said, no, this is important character building. And I was like, interesting. You could have said your skin's beautiful.
No.
But instead she went, oh, God, her words were, I have noticed your skin has been bad lately.
But I think what we ought to do is let it get worse so it scars and then you can deal with it in adulthood. Thank you, Mum.
Thank you.
Ratajkowski wasn't having those issues. At 15 years old, she started auditioning for Disney and iCarly roles. But there was a problem.
She was too pretty? Wait,
she was being typecast as a cheerleader or a bully.
I hate it when that happens. I always get typecast.
Everyone's always like, are you a cheerleader? And I'm like, surprisingly not. Her real break came in 2013 with the release of Robin Thicke's video clip for Blurred Lines.
How old? So she was 17-ish, 17-ish,
Wow.
18.
No.
Oh, what? No, she was like 27.
She was 21.
Whoa. Whoa. Hold on. 2018?
Often people who aren't hot like Em Rata are like, yeah, but at least I'm smart. But you're just so dumb
what
and
year?
you're not Em Rata.
What year?
2013. Claire, she's roughly the same age as us. Just do the math.
I thought you said 2018.
No. So I think she was about 21. And there was an explicit version that was released as well where Ratajkowski was topless.
I saw her tits. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone we were dating started wishing they were actually dating Ratajkowski, which was hard for us because we did not look at all like Ratajkowski and we were letting our partners down. Claire, do you remember this period of time?
Mm-hmm.
My structure for today is as follows. The Blurred Lines video clip, the fallout. The time she got cancelled for saying that hair is feminine, broadly. Controversy around her book, My Body, mostly stirred up by myself. Her feud with Celeste Barber, a post-birth picture, and miscellaneous, which includes things such as the time she stole another podcast name, Fire Festival, and being brave for being hot. There was a lot of bravery that's taken place. The Blurred Lines video clip.
Everybody get up.
In 2013, Robin Thicke releases this song called Blurred Lines that was broadly considered quite rapey. Claire, you can read this first verse as though it's a poem, and then I'll read the next one.
Okay.
I just chose verses that kind of gave us a vibe. I hate these blurred lines. I know you want it, hey. I know you want it. Oh, yeah. I know you want it, but you're a good girl. Ah, hey, the way you grab me must want to get nasty. Ah, hey. And then he says, go ahead, get at me. Everybody get up, come on. And then there's a verse that says, one thing I ask of you, let me be the one you back that ass up to. Come on. Go from Malibu to Paris, boo. Yeah. Had a bitch, but she ain't bad as you. So hit me up when you pass through. Oh. I'll give you something big enough to tear your ass into. Swag on him, even when you dress casual. I mean, it's almost unbearable. Hey. Everybody get up.
I don't want to get
And so
up.
on.
I'll be sitting right down.
So Em Rata is in the film clip. She was interviewed at the time about what she thought, and here's what she said. I was never uncomfortable. I don't think that nudity is something weird. I think it's natural and to be celebrated. She said the video clip was funny, silly, and a little sarcastic.
Okay, I did watch the Blurred Lines video clip and I went, what a great piece of comedy.
What I like about Blurred Lines is it shows my sense of humor.
Wow, it's clever.
What did you think was funny about it?
Nothing. I would like to say, however, that people we cancel along the way, Robin Thicke, why is he not in the cancel courtroom?
Because he's gone.
He disappeared.
I don't know where he is.
He would cancel him, but I can't find him. He just weaseled away with his tail between his legs like, I made a song. It upset everyone.
I'll let myself out.
My musical talent is very lacking.
It's very lacking.
I think that could be right.
She claimed that the producers, through the use of humour and sarcasm, and this is a quote, took something that on paper sounded really sexist and misogynistic and made it more interesting. She said that the song gave me an opportunity to say the things that I felt about feminism today and about women in pop culture. And the attention given to the nudity in the video, she said, proved that America was not advanced, and she believes that society represses sexuality, which is bad for everyone.
That's the problem. Not the misogynistic lyrics, not the rapey lyrics. I have always been... Okay,
I'm currently tapping
as I'm trying to
frame.
Speak. Jesse's tapping a picture of a naked Emily Ratajkowski.
Don't you think we're too repressed?
See, the thing about this is...
He's wearing a suit.
Robin Thicke is fully clothed. And then he's next to a naked woman.
He looks
yet
cold.
It's like we've
Empowering.
achieved equality.
Yes.
We've achieved equality by having a man in a suit, what would we call it, singing? Speak about sexually assaulting a woman. And then we've got a naked woman in the clip just to represent that victim.
Exactly right. Well, guess what, Claire? She actually doesn't think it's empowering.
No,
in her
she
book,
doesn't.
My Body, which we're going to get to in more detail, she reconsiders her involvement in the clip. She said that Thicke, out of frustration and indignation at the attention that she was commanding on set, grasped her breast without her consent, causing her to cower and the shoot to momentarily halt.
Ugh, grabbing her.
I know. She writes, with one gesture, Robin Thicke reminded everyone on the set that we women weren't really in charge. I was nothing more than the hired mannequin.
For so long, I talked about how that video had been so empowering and how I felt so great. And that's still true. I had a lot of fun on that set. And then this one thing happened. And I think that it says so much about power dynamics and all these amazing women who were there. None of us really were in a position to do anything to protect each other. And that's why I told that story.
I get this. I think that we do jobs at 21 that we don't feel great about at 30. And this was prior to the Me Too movement. I defend Em's right to change her mind about how she feels about that clip.
Me too.
But I will say there was no ha-has in that.
There was no ha-has. And originally I remember her saying like that it was meant to be funny, and I do get really annoyed when people do something bizarre, offensive, whatever, and they're like, it's funny, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
And she did do that, but it wasn't her song.
And she was 21.
She was employed to be in that.
Yeah.
And I think her revisiting that and changing her mind, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it. Okay, Robin Thicke. He's written another album called Paula, sold 54 copies. And now that I've said that, what I'm going to need you to do is find a song from that album for us to listen to, because that is a shockingly low amount of... Claire, I would hazard to say we're not a big deal. But if we made an album,
what would we make an album of? Best hits.
Best hits.
Us singing songs that we've sung on here.
Yes. Best hits.
Like when we did Demi Lovato.
Yeah. Skyscraper.
Like a skyscraper.
Why would you want to listen to that? Our interpretation of Skyscraper.
Of Demi Lovato.
Do you think we could sell 54 copies of that? Almost. Because Mum would buy 25.
My partner would buy 3.
My partner would buy 2. And our producer would buy 15. Yeah. And I just think we're getting close.
We are.
Do you have a song, please?
Sorry, I was bopping along. It's got, the film clip has like text messages over the top of it. And the first one says, they're quite problematic. The first one says, I kept trying to warn you, you were pushing me too far.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
It is without melody. And it was criticised at the time for being the creepiest, weirdest album of the year.
Yeah.
And that's where Robin Thicke went. Okay, number 2. This is important. The time she got cancelled for saying hair is feminine.
Yeah, okay, I want to hear about this.
In 2018, Em Rata posted on Instagram about what was essentially a brand partnership with a hair care product, right? And her caption read, hair is a fundamental part of beauty, femininity and identity. So excited to announce that I am the new face of hair care product. Claire, the comments were angry. They said, I'm so sick of the notion that feminine equals long hair, because even bald-headed girls are gorgeous too. Not everyone is blessed with hair like you. All women who lost your hair, you should know that you are still beautiful. The sentiment was some women don't have hair. Em? So Claire, how should she have written her caption instead? Do you find this offensive?
I do think it's a sweeping statement. Like when you just read that out, I thought, well, yeah, what if you're going through chemo?
Claire, I wrote her a better caption for approval.
Okay.
Which I think would be less controversial.
Yes, good.
It reads as so. Some women don't have hair due to illness or choice. Maybe they had hair and now they don't. Some men have hair. In fact, some men have more hair than women. Also, where is the hair? Sometimes it is on the body and not on the head.
Beautifully said.
Which is not what this particular hair care brand is really for. So I have at this point gone off message. But for people who do have hair on their head, this hair care brand makes products for it that you should buy. Here, enjoy my face. Em, at hair care product.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, you just cover all the bases there.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just feeling a bit sensitive today. Like when you read that out, I think all those comments were people who were feeling sensitive, and I'm having
Okay, interesting you say you're feeling sensitive because
Yeah.
she changed this caption in the end, right?
Okay.
And she changed it to welcome good hair days. And I was like, well, my hair looks like shit.
No.
So fuck you. Now I feel attacked.
I think that is more appropriate and universal.
Well, what if I'm having a bad hair day?
And then that's fine. She's saying buy the thing and it'll give you a good hair
Well, she's saying
day.
welcome. I can't welcome a good hair day. I'd love to, but can't afford your product. I don't even know if it's available here. And my hair looks bad and you're making fun of me.
I think the fact is whenever we're being sold to, we must be made to feel bad. And that is...
Sales 101.
Okay, number 3. On to her book called My Body. In 2021, at the age of 30, Em Rata published a collection of essays called My Body. Did you read this?
No, there were extracts published. I read extracts.
I think I read most of it. It explores how living in the world with her body is both a blessing and a curse, and she seeks to examine the various mirrors in which I've seen myself. It was an instant New York Times bestseller. And the New York Times described her book as a deeply honest investigation of what it means to be a woman and a commodity. Would we say it's about what it means to be a woman? Would we say that? Well, Lena Dunham, this is some of the stuff that's been said about the book. This is the book for every woman trying to place their body on the map of consumption versus control, and every woman who wants to better understand her impulses. It left me much changed. I read this book. It's not for everyone. Dani Shapiro says, I read these pages breathless with recognition and the thrill of reading a new voice telling it like it is. Amy Schumer says it's an essay collection that needs to be read by everyone. This is my problem with the book, in case you're wondering, Claire. I found it profoundly, painfully, unspeakably unrelatable.
Yeah. It's somebody writing about my body when they happen to have aesthetically one of the most lauded bodies in the Western world today.
She writes about her body and its relationship to herself and to men, but not at all to other women. At no point does she say how her body or her sharing that body or the consumption of her body affects women around her. Being very hot and the question of making hundreds of millions of dollars out of my own image is not a question I've had to personally grapple with, unfortunately.
I haven't had to think about the commodification of my body.
No one wants to.
Well, no one wants it. No one wants it. I haven't got an offer.
No, exactly right. In terms of the questions and concerns of feminism and power and liberation, I am not personally losing sleep over Em Rata. And there's some hypocrisy in asking that the world stop objectifying you when you are selling your body for a lot of money. Her body has quite literally been commodified. It sells food and perfume and lingerie. And again, all power to you. Girls got to make a buck. But you're not doing that for me. You're doing that for you, which is fine. But then you don't get to write about feminism and have Lena Dunham tell me I've got to read a feminist book.
Yeah, it does make me uncomfortable. It is somebody who, if you were to draw what men want the female body to look like,
it's Em.
And
she knows
that. And I think most women, if not pretty much all women, struggle with other elements of having a body, such as the fact that it doesn't conform to the beauty standard. That's probably the biggest issue for a lot of women, looking in the mirror and thinking, there's a beauty standard and my body doesn't fit it. And that's what makes it hard.
And she knows that modelling comes at a price. She said that.
Okay.
But she'll continue to do it. And this is what she says because it makes her money and she likes it. Okay. Again, I will defend her hustle. I will not defend her as a feminist icon. I will not. For that, she's a bit cancelled.
Okay.
Number 4, feud with Celeste Barber. Claire. Celeste Barber keeps making jokes about Em Rata and she hates it.
Yep.
In 2021, Barber uploaded this picture to Instagram. Please describe what you see and then read that caption below.
Okay, on the left, we have an Em Rata. And she is between like two walls and popping up in the middle, and she's leaning on the wall and her butt is kind of pushed out and she's got like a G-string kind of cozy. I would imagine that is her swimwear.
Yes.
She's got her own swimwear brand. It doesn't look like she has a top on, just the bottoms. Then on the right, we've got Celeste Barber doing the same pose with also just bikini bottoms on, except Celeste Barber has the body of an average woman, which looks very different to Emily's, and she's doing kind of a smize look.
Yeah.
And you would call that parody.
And the caption reads, "We are sick of you objectifying our bodies. Also, here's my ass." Em Rata blocked Celeste on Instagram immediately. She didn't think it was very funny. Not funny like Blurred Lines.
No, Blurred Lines.
Have you seen my film clip? That is absolutely the height of comedy.
Commentary. That was really clever.
That was funny. Whereas this is, I don't like it. Then this year she came out on her podcast and commented on the viral parodies that Barber has been doing of her for years. Claire, I was going to put this in miscellaneous, but it has come up too soon. What is her podcast name?
High Low.
Welcome to another episode of High Low with Em Rata.
Claire, what was one of the most popular UK podcasts called for years?
The High Low.
Claire, who was a guest on High Low?
Emily Ratajkowski.
Now who has a podcast named High Low?
Emily Ratajkowski.
Do you think Em Ratajkowski didn't know that there was a podcast called High Low?
No.
You can't just drop the and then make your podcast.
I feel like no one's acknowledged that.
It's a crime.
The high-low was, in the early days of podcasting / until a couple of years ago, one of the biggest podcasts in the world. And then she starts a podcast called High-Low.
And no one says anything.
No, it's very
And it's like,
strange.
just because that podcast isn't still going on, it still
doesn't
has
mean-
a name.
And it doesn't mean we forgot.
It's like if we wrote a show, we call it Game of Thrones. So it's confusing because that was a show
yeah.
already.
We'd call it like the Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
adding
yeah.
like
No,
something
no,
tiny.
no. You can't. Anyway, on an episode of High-Low, she said the whole drama with Celeste has been blown out of proportion. In general, I find her to be really funny.
What I was trying to send the message to her was, I just don't want you to do this anymore to me. I was like, I want to be able to do my thing, whether that be write about my terrifying experiences in an industry that doesn't protect young women and girls and femme-presenting people, while also like having a bathing suit line. And I was like, I'm not giving my consent for this joke anymore.
Claire, Em Rata has 30 million followers on Instagram. She's a movie star. She's a model. Does she get to decide who makes jokes about her?
Well, you're allowed to be upset by something. You're allowed to be offended by something, and you're also allowed to say that you are upset by it or hurt by it. I think she's conflating a few things. Celeste Barber's comedy is physical. That the joke is you see the contrast between a model's pose and then a real person trying to do that pose.
I think the joke's on Celeste Barber.
Yes, the joke is on Celeste
And it's like
Barber.
what Ricky Gervais says all the time, which is if you can't make a joke about a celebrity, then who the hell can you make a joke about? The idea that Celeste or any of us are punching down on Em Rata is impossible.
It's the privileged that you have to make the jokes about.
Yeah.
And so the joke is on Celeste Barber that she's saying, I don't look like this other person. And I can see how it was probably the caption that made Emily feel uncomfortable, that it was saying, now here's my butt. But I think that there's something to be said that it is important to have the perspective of the Celeste Barbers, because we're seeing these people ask to not be ogled at while seeming to purposely frame themselves for the male gaze.
Yeah, objectifying themselves. And then writing a book called My Body and being like, stop talking about my body. Well, you wrote a book called My Body. Now everyone's reading it. Number 5, a post-birth picture. In 2021, Em Rata gave birth to a beautiful little boy. She wrote an essay once about not telling us the gender of the baby and something about him deciding it at 18. But he's 2 and he's a boy.
Okay. Oh, that's all of us.
Yeah, it's all of us.
All of us being like, gender neutral.
Sure, then they come out and we're like, you're a boy, you want to try?
You're a girl, want to dress in pink. I made you a doll's house. I regret everything.
11 days after birth, Ratajkowski posted footage of herself modelling loungewear on her Instagram account, which is like Inamorata.
That's the
swimwear, loungewear.
That's
okay.
Swimwear, yeah.
Anyway, here's what she posted. This is 11 days after giving birth. Describe what, like, her pose and, like, what we can see in that image.
Okay, so she's wearing pajamas. The top of the pajamas is open, and the pants she is tugging at so that they're sitting very, very, very low. And you just wouldn't know from looking at that she had had a baby, let alone had a baby recently.
If I was looking at this and I'm thinking about buying the product, I would go, well, do the buttons work?
Yeah, you're not showcasing
the buttons
quality
work?
of the buttons.
Because to me it looks like your shirt has no buttons.
And the elastic waistband of
it's loose.
the pants.
Too loose.
Looking loose on her. They seem to be falling down, and elastic waistbands are huge in my life.
Exactly. What I would be doing, and this is put pregnancy babies aside, is I wear my pants up under my breast.
Yeah.
So I would want that.
Yeah.
I want all my buttons up. Otherwise, I might catch cold. Because if we have our shirt open like that, if someone comes to the door with the delivery,
we're going to pop my
tits
tits.
out.
We're going to pop a tit.
We're going to pop a tit at the door. The Australian actress Claire Holt posted about this image, and she did a story on her Instagram and said, I try not to be the Grinch on here, but I really want to say something because it's annoying me. If you post a picture of your completely flat stomach 10 days after having a baby and call that body positivity, to me that's the same as posting a picture of the millions of dollars in your bank account and calling that success positivity. Claire, is it really Em Rata's fault that she's so hot after giving birth?
That is tricky. And maybe, what if you did have a baby and you look in the mirror and you go, oh my God, I look so good.
Wait, that's me. That's me. I'm beautiful.
That's got to be shared with the world. I totally agree with Claire Holt.
Yep.
I don't know what the statement is by sharing an image so soon after birth. I'm following somebody who did this recently. They're about a week after birth and just a photo of their stomach.
Yeah.
And you feel like writing, congratulations.
On that?
Congratulations.
This isn't the case for most of us.
Yeah. Congratulations on how your body and your own
would a stretch mark kill you?
Physicality
Would it kill you?
has bounced back in a way that a lot of women's doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, not to mention that there would be women who, that long after birth are still
in hospital
physically
recovering. Exactly right.
So it's just a bit odd.
It's a bit of a flex. We don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm just dealing with low self-esteem and I want to punch you right in your dumb face right now.
Finally, miscellaneous. We've touched on this. She stole another podcast name. We don't like it.
Yeah.
We'd like to just reestablish that in the record.
That's been put in the record.
Something you may have forgotten is that Em does a bit of SponCon. As we've talked about. Again, girls got to eat.
And when you're that hot, it would be criminal.
You get lots of offers. She did SponCon for something called Fire Festival, which was, of course, that 2017 fraudulent festival run by that guy named Billy and also Ja Rule, who we all think got off lightly.
To everybody that be living it up, we say.
But anyway, tickets cost up to $100K, where guests booked into hectic luxury accommodation in the Bahamas, and then when they arrived, it was a little bit an unlit car park with soggy cheese on white bread. It wasn't toasted.
Concert goers paid as much as $12,000 for luxurious accommodations at the music festival, but when they got to the Fire Festival, they found disaster relief tents and mattresses piled up in the dirt. And as for gourmet food, social media posts shows it was nothing more than a cheese sandwich in a styrofoam box.
My favourite thing about it was that the influencers didn't go. The influencers who said they were going.
They were never planning on going.
They're like, oh, sounds like a shit show. I better stay at home.
Oh, God, no.
I better stay in my multi-million-dollar mansion. While all these people who saved for months to go, yeah, they'll go.
They'll go. Well, one man did turn up, and this is my favourite story about Fire Festival. He arrived. And he turned up, and in the unlit car park, he found an abandoned notebook that looked like it was from a war zone.
Oh, wow.
And he picked it up, and it was a to-do list that someone had written of to do.
Was it Billy?
And it said, buy 6,000 packets of Skittles. No one needs Skittles. They need a roof.
They need tents.
They need
accommodation.
A urinal. They need a hot meal.
Hot food. We sit down to eat. And the potato's a bit hot. So I only put a little bit on my fork and I blow till it's cool, just cool, then into the mouth. Nice.
Anyway, Em Rata did a grid post for Fire Festival and she got paid something like $229,000 for her grid post. And yeah, she got sued because Fire Festival was fraudulent. Okay? Along with her friends such as Kendall, maybe Hadid.
My name is Bella Hadid.
Bella. Yeah, Bella. And it's like, in their defense, they're like, I'm sorry. Do you expect me to do due diligence on any of this shit?
Did you think I give a fuck about what I post? No.
Sorry, I'll just show you my paycheck. That was the reason I didn't.
Tell me what you wouldn't advertise for $229,000.
For money.
I sent people to a war zone.
What's the tension?
What is the tension? I'll pay my fine.
Actually, the thing was, the bloody fine's less than what they got paid.
Exactly. Happy to pay my fine. In addition, there was a time she held her baby weird.
Okay, yes.
Her baby was 3 months old when she uploaded these pictures. Claire, please describe what you see.
All right, so clearly she's gone, again, I'm so hot
I'm so hot. And she is wearing what I can only assume is one of her
String bikinis?
bespoke string bikinis. And she looks incredible. And she's holding her baby in a way that smushes her boob, but her baby's not sucking the boob. He's looking over the other way. And she's got this weird underarm grip of him. However, I will say all mothers must hold their babies weird when no one's looking. It's just that this did get photographed and shown to millions of people.
Mum shaming is never okay, but that's a weird way to hold a baby, and I'll tell you why. Please give me the images. I don't think she's a bad mother. I don't think she's a bad woman. Technically, you should be supporting the head.
Yes, because baby's head's still floppy.
Exactly. And it is, again, I have no problem with her holding the baby like this. She put it on Instagram, then she turned comments off because she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. You thought this was about how I was holding my baby.
It's about my stomach.
It's about my stomach and my swimwear. Link in bio. Shop collection. It's not about my baby in there. And the baby will be fine.
And can we acknowledge what the baby's wearing?
It's matching swimwear.
So it's like, why do you care about the baby's head?
Well, you know who cared about the baby's head?
Who?
Piers Morgan.
Yes, you've guessed it.
Oh,
because he has always cared about babies' heads and supporting their necks.
He's been waiting to have a go at Em Ratajkowski.
Well, he had something to say. He tweeted a few times, and one of them said, if she chooses to use her baby as a prop to promote yourself to 27 million people on Instagram, and she's holding that baby in a dangerous way, it's actually the duty of any caring human being to tell her so the baby comes to no harm.
So how are we going to tell her?
Claire, I cannot stress this enough. Piers Morgan does not care about the well-being of Em Rata's baby.
No.
Finally, just a word on Em Rata's bravery.
Okay.
I'd like you to read out this headline. Okay. It goes over 2 pages because it's just so good.
Emily Ratajkowski is fighting her body shamers one ab-bearing Instagram post at a time. The model admitted she nearly didn't post the picture because of the controversy it would cause. The picture is Emily Ratajkowski looking perfect, and her abs are on display, and they're just particularly toned, is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing low-rise pants and a stomach.
There are abdominals. There is definition in places I didn't know
you could get definition. It is so thin. And
she's fighting the body shamers.
She's going, you know what? You're going to tell me I look too good. And that hurts my feelings. And it's like, can we talk about what body shaming actually is?
For most women.
Because people saying you look too good?
Yeah.
How is that upsetting to you?
And she's like, people say there's this other dress. And she's like, yeah, there was controversy because everyone said you're too sexy. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just the right amount.
Wow. Inspiration.
And so she is a brave freedom fighter?
Yeah.
Claire, it is time for charges and sentences. I thought about it and I ended up writing the note. Being hot isn't not part of it.
Oh my God. Obviously.
And then I realised that the charge is complaining about being hot, which is not personally relatable to me.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You know
I'm
what
so
it is?
beautiful.
You know what it is. She can complain about being hot, but read the room. Go with your other hot friends. I know you've got them.
Yeah, go Victoria's Secret model group club. You might have a club.
You know, if you have a group chat still from your Fire Festival, SponCon.
Yeah.
When you were doing that and when you were all kind of thinking of ideas.
You know who else could probably relate? Kendall.
Yeah.
Hayley. Bella. Could all say.
And so on.
Oh, Bella says, yeah, what do you think it's like being announced as the most beautiful woman in the world?
Do you even know what it's like?
Yeah.
No,
It's
no,
really
I
hard.
don't, Bella.
No.
And that could be hard. But what we need to do is find our people.
You know, it's a really good example because, like, through this podcast, we have a bit of a community, a lazy girl community. Yeah. And if we came onto this podcast and said, I've had such a busy week, I wrote 17 articles and then I
got up at 6 a.m.
I cleaned my whole house and then I did.
Well, it'd be firstly lying and secondly, it would not be relatable to our listeners.
No.
And they are who we put first. So Em complaining about being hot, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but
hard can't relate.
Hard, not top 10
people I'm donating to.
No.
Okay? My
Go
sentence.
fund me. I'm sad about hotness.
I'm sad about hotness and how much money I've made off it. Sentence. I've written, which I have said before, a stretch mark wouldn't kill you. Just a few on your breasts from breastfeeding or not. A lot of women who didn't breastfeed just have stretch marks.
Maybe she does in places we can't see
No,
them.
well, she. Do you want
We've
me
seen
to
a lot
find
of
the
her.
picture?
We've seen a lot of her.
Of the 11 days after, because it's not a stretch mark, is there?
No.
And there's not a stretch mark on the stomach, on the hip area. And then she came out and she said, well, I've got a little bit extra skin.
And listen, my body is different. I have a little bit of extra skin still and, whatever.
Well, not really. Do you?
Not that I can see.
Not that I can see. So I would never wish a stretch mark on a woman, even though I've got 100 of them and most of us have them. But Em, I just think could do with some more.
Okay.
I have another sentence.
Okay. Yep.
It's unrelated to the charge.
Mm-hmm.
You know how she wants ownership over her own image and that she wrote that viral essay and it actually made some really good points?
Yeah.
Well, I reckon the high-low wants some ownership over their name.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
They own the high-low.
The name.
You've named your podcast high-low. You owe them money.
I wonder if she's also, I haven't listened to her podcast. I've seen clips of it on a platform called TikTok.
Yes,
but
I've also seen that.
My question would be, has she stolen the name and the vibe,
concept?
The concept
I
that
believe
it's
so.
like, because the idea between the high-low was that it was like highbrow, lowbrow.
In a courtroom, I would say that makes worse.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
look,
yeah.
did we start our podcast called Cancelled and then we discovered when it was already in the charts that there was another one called Cancelled? Yes.
Of course we
but
did.
That's different.
And they're very, very different shows.
Very different. And we didn't know about that.
No.
And that was in America. And we were never guests.
we were never guests. And our defense in a courtroom, if we were ever asked to give one, would be it is on the record that we are lazy girls.
Yes.
Did we do research?
No.
No, we went cancelled. Great name for a podcast. Let's do it.
Yes. Very good point.
Okay. My charge is causing me to have complicated feelings about feminism. And that is that I'm seeing a woman living her best life. And I'm thinking, why am I angry? Why do I feel...
Does she make you feel like a hater?
I am not an active hater. I would never comment. I would never DM.
No.
I would never.
But it stirs some feelings
But
in
it
you.
stirs feelings of
Which
inadequacy.
might be the patriarchy's fault.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's her fault. I think it's misogyny, patriarchy, internalized misogyny.
You're welcome.
Yes.
There's a lot going on for me. So my sentence is incredibly similar to yours. Stop telling me it's so hard for you in that you're so hot.
Yes.
That's honestly it. That's it.
So
Go on with all the rest of it. Absolutely fine. Your bikini line, your plagiarized podcast. Go do it.
Make $1.
But you know what? You've made your point. You've made I'm hot. That's hard for me.
Yeah.
Mate, you've sold a book, bestseller. You've written many, many articles. I get it.
And maybe it was a bestseller because a lot of women went, same.
I know. Just
I'm
not
hot
me.
and it's hard for me.
Just not me. And so I just think you've said that now and I've heard you.
And you can say a new thing now.
And you can say a new thing that maybe isn't about how hot you are.
Love it.
And that being a struggle.
Love it. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Cancelled. We're going to put all the receipts from this episode on the twins_thoughts on Instagram. This podcast is produced by Talissa Bazaz with audio editing by Thom Lyon. And your lazy girl stories, we always want you to send them in. They're our favourite.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl.
We're collecting them. They just bring us so much joy.
I want to ask something specific in the lazy girl world.
Okay.
Lazy girl hacks. What do you do in your life
to make
that you've worked out? You've done something. You've set something up in your life because you're a lazy girl. I need ideas.
Yeah, right. I think that pregnancy is the ultimate lazy girl hack because you start saying you go. I say, I can't take the dog out for a wee. It's not good for my back.
Yeah, it's a very good get out of jail free card.
Yeah, exactly. The things I'm like, I can't cook. The smell. I don't have any aversions to smell. I don't want to cook.
Lovely. And we have had hacks before. We've had people, I made up an allergy, etc. And we really enjoy those. So any more hacks would be greatly appreciated for personal use.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We will be back next week. Bye. Bye.